Leon Carte stopped the two girls at the portal and made them leave on his terms. He mocked them for treating his place like a garbage dump, then ordered them to contact instructor Syria Dawnvale, withdraw from the major class, and leave the Warforged Dominion if they wanted to live. They used their still unsealed permissions and called Syria. 15 minutes later, Syria opened a portal. The two girls were about to enter when Leon suddenly shouted for them to stop. They froze, afraid he would kill them after changing his mind. Leon warned them to tell the truth after returning. If they lied to the teacher, no one would save them. After they nodded, he let them go. Leon then led his skeleton army to the Carrion Crypt ruins marked in Siren Dawnspire's records. The entrance was in the center of a swamp. Leon had the skeletons build a bone bridge, crossed it, and entered. A voice announced 4 floors, rewards after each floor, and an inheritance reward for clearing all 4. The entry fee was 2,000 gold. Leon paid and started. The first floor spawned 1,000 shield corpses. They moved slowly, but their defense was high. Their rotting bodies ignored shallow wounds, recovered by absorbing moisture, and their heavy blows carried corpse poison. Leon answered with numbers. His skeletons swarmed them, and new iron-bone skeletons rose from the fallen corpses. By the time the floor ended, Leon had gained 947 iron-bone skeletons. He rejected the corpse altar and the rotting limb skill orb, then took the gold reward instead. The second floor sent 500 fetid bulwark corpses and filled the chamber with stench. Skeletons had no sense of smell, so Leon crushed them again. He rejected the altar and the corpse bloodline fruit, then took 8,000 gold. The third floor brought 100 rotting giant corpses. They were huge and hard to damage. Leon's skeletons charged anyway and were smashed apart in large numbers. Even Storm Halfling Drakespear lightning only scorched the targets. Leon then used his trump card. The Bone Overlord absorbed shattered bones and turned into a Bone Colossus bear. The 10-meter giant bear overpowered the rotting giant corpses and crushed them one after another. From their bodies, skeleton knights were summoned. Leon cleared the floor and chose the Summon Corpse skill orb, then gave it to the Crystal Skeleton King. Then the final floor opened. 10 rotting giants appeared, all hero undead. Leon had only one Bone Colossus bear, so he built new giants during the fight. He force-fused newly summoned skeleton knights into rookie bone overlords, then fed them bone materials by sending ironbone skeletons forward to be smashed apart. When the fodder was nearly gone, 4 skeleton giants had formed, under the Crystal Skeleton King's command. They focused one rotting giant and beat it without stopping. When that giant died, a giant skeleton knight rose from the corpse. The numbers shifted, then shifted again. Leon ground down all 10 rotting giants and cleared the last floor. The Carrion Crypt ruins were fully conquered. Leon received 300,000 gold, a permanent corpse altar, and a corpse trial ground, then was sent back to the swamp edge. The ruins vanished. He deposited the gold card and his balance rose to 324,311. The permanent corpse altar only consumed gold to summon corpse units. The corpse trial ground was even better. It used tickets and points. Challengers could exchange points for rewards, while Leon could sell tickets. Collect corpses left behind, turn them into skeletons, and use skeletons as labor die. That night, he started planning. Soon, corpse trial tickets appeared in the group chat. Classmates questioned what happened to Siren Dawnspire and who was selling the tickets. Leon gave no answer. Daphne Morwen sent him a private message instead and asked if he had eliminated Siren. Leon answered directly. He had killed him. Leon sent Daphne 10 tickets and told her to try the trial. Daphne entered, cleared the easy run with her lizardmen troops, earned 1,300 points, and exchanged for a random corpse skill, blindbox.dax. She drew Summon Corpse and got hooked. She kept challenging higher modes and failed on Hell mode, but the class only wanted the trial more. Students began calculating runs for a rotting giant altar and buying more tickets. Fewer than 30 Sanctum players remained in the Warforged Dominion, but in only 3 days Leon earned 30,000 gold from ticket sales alone. The bigger gain came from the bodies. The corpse conversion chain let him build a bone overlord force of more than 100. With his troops rebuilt, Leon marched on the Trent ruins. He entered with 100 hero undead bone overlords and tens of thousands of iron bone skeleton fodder. The first 2 floors fell quickly. The third floor brought 100 century Trent wardens. And Leon used his full method. He sent the iron bone skeletons in like waves. They died in piles and shattered into fragments. Leon let it happen. That was the plan. Once the ground was covered in bones, the 100 bone overlords stepped in, absorbed the fragments, and formed 110-meter skeleton giants. The skeleton giants tore through the century Trent wardens and cleared the floor. The 4th floor brought 20 hero-level 1000-year Trent Kings Stoy. Leon had his skeleton giants surround them 5 to 1, but the damage barely exceeded the Trent King's recovery. If the skeleton giants slipped, they were shattered instead. Leon still won, but only by a narrow margin. Then the 5th floor opened, and one enemy appeared. The 10,000-year Trent Emperor towered 100 meters tall. Leon forced himself to inspect it through the backlash, and saw a lord-level lifeform with branch lash, root snare, thorn impale, a native weapon, a nature heart, and a life domain. The Trent Emperor attacked first. A single branch strike smashed 3 skeleton giants into fragments, and crippled the bone overlords inside with Lifora corruption. Leon watched more skeleton giants break apart, while the Trent Emperor kept rooting into the earth and healing the damage away. Leon forced himself to think, and found one answer. Fire. Why? He opened his warehouse through the panel, and pulled out a shepherd flute taken from Siren's corpse. When blown, it summoned 100 flame ox heavy riders. Leon sounded it. A portal opened. Burning riders charged out. Leon ordered them to ignite the Trent Emperor. The flame ox heavy riders crashed in, held the line, and set the giant body ablaze. The Trent Emperor's recovery and defense dropped, and Leon finally saw an opening. But most of his bone overlords had already been corroded, and could not reform into skeleton giants in time. Leon chose fusion again. He fused 30 bone overlords into one body. The fusion crossed a threshold, and produced a lord-grade super bone overlord. It pulled in the sea of scattered bones, and built a 100-meter skeleton giant around itself. The burning Trent Emperor struck. The giant skeleton caught the flaming branch. It pulled. Nut. The branch snapped. That broke the stalemate. The flame ox heavy riders kept feeding the fire. The giant skeleton kept tearing off branches. After 10 hours of battle, the Trent Emperor was dismantled beyond shape. Even its life domain could not repair the damage. Its vitality ran out, and it became a 100-meter dead tree. Leon cleared the 5th floor, and fully conquered the Trent ruins. He received 2 million units of wood, a permanent Trent altar, and a Trent trial ground. Leon then set up the Trent trial ground, sold new tickets, gathered resources, and upgraded his haven shelter from a level 5 manor estate to a level 6 great manor. The estate expanded, the smithy expanded, and 6 facility options unlocked. Leon chose the graveyard first to strengthen undead death, aura, and trigger mutation. For the 2nd slot, he skipped the training ground and horse ranch, and chose a vegetable garden to feed his growing locust appetite. The 2 facilities were built. He was about to rest when Daphne Morwen sent another message. The 2nd calamity was coming. Leon's drowsiness vanished. Daphne said her brother had warned her that the 2nd calamity would be harsher than the 1st, but only an appetizer compared to the 3rd. Before the 3rd calamity, they would need the 9 streams of Warcraft, 9 troop types in total. Leon understood the pressure immediately. To gather 9 troop types, his haven shelter would likely need to reach level 9, and the resource cost would be massive. Daphne then asked to form an alliance and survive together until the major class ended. Leon weighed her strength against the value of her information on the Warforged Dominion. He agreed on one condition. Before the alliance, she had to tell him everything she knew about the Warforged Dominion. Daphne agreed at once, and said she would move her shelter near us immediately. Leon was stunned, and asked how she planned to move an entire manor-scale shelter. Daphne only told him to wait and see. After she logged off, Leon warned Clara Shaw and Marcus about the incoming second calamity. Their troop types could support each other, and Leon judged they could survive. He still worried about resources for his own upgrades. Even after sending skeleton teams to harvest every nearby zone, his scouting insects had mapped. Then the sky darkened. Leon looked up and saw a massive piece of land flying overhead. Daphne Morwen stood on that floating land and waved at him from far away. Leon's scalp went numb. In the Warforged Dominion, she had really moved her entire shelter.